Hey. Hi. So, I don't know how long this stream is going to be. Kaylee has gone out for a birthday meal. It's her birthday tomorrow. So, it's just me and the dog. We're in a completely separate part of the house because it's gone very cold and it's quite cold downstairs. So, I've brought him upstairs so I can wrap him up in his bed. So, here we are. Let's... I really want to finish this part of the game. Oh, look at that. We're not in full screen yet. Okay, there we go. Should be full screen now. Perfect. So, oh, I haven't even got my headphones on either, so my it's coming from the laptop. Okay, so excuse me. Who's this? Oh, it's Miss Star. Of course it is. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Sure. Miss Star. I guess she's out of lunches. So you're giving me the uncooked lunches now. Cool. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? So we're on the investigation just before, I believe it's the last day of the trial. It all went a bit wrong yesterday. It all went a bit wrong in the sense of by clearing the fact that there was no murder at the police department, we kind of gave them no other choice but to believe that Lana committed the murder in the parking lot. So we're kind of trying to find the evidence to do something about it, I think. Okay, so you certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like... What a statement. Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple. Why would they have sucked it? But just like, maybe they just tugged it. Does it have to be sucked? A cow's nipple to discover milk? I mean, the drinking of it, sure, but like, yeah, because why would you automatically think, do you know what? I'm going to try this weird liquid that just come out of the udder of this animal here. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? What am I forgetting, Angel? You know, that little scene I happened to witness? Yeah, I don't believe you saw what you think you saw. I gotta be honest. Yeah, you might have a photo of her at the crime scene, but I'm dubious. The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savoured when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Okay, so let's dig a little. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Hello, Xbox, chiming in there. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. He must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Lana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo, Lana and Chief Gant. Yeah. Okay. The case closed. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Doc got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious that the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Why is that bad if you got the person? Like, yes, it's bad, right? We should be closing cases on actual evidence. But why are they so et up about it 2 years later if it got the result? If it got the result that they wanted? Like, what's with all the angst? Items our team never found would suddenly appear while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us save Goodman were relieved of our duties, most without even so much as an explanation. Then, Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used. Interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. Okay. His magnetism. By that, I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh, yes. There were rumours about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh, yes. Myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Huh? Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Interesting. Okay. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief... That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control. And then no one could stand in his way. Okay. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know. But one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, Rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Okay. So we've got nothing left to say there. There's not much else to say there. What about we go back here? No. Let's go back here maybe. We need to get into... I don't know where to go. What am I meant to do? There's nobody to speak to in any of these places apart from... Maybe we just... Let's just present Lana a whole bunch of stuff and see what happens. I don't have anything else to tell you. Okay. Right, so we... What about this? Nope. This? Okay, we're just running through the options. Run, run, run. I don't think she has got anything else to tell me, has she? I think we're done here. What is she actually saying at the end of that? Because I'm not reading it. We see Rice 30. This, maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Okay. She really doesn't. Scan, scan, scan. And then we're just going to have to wander around. Okay. We've been here. Huh. Okay. So I'm a little bit stuck. Do we know where I've got to go? This is the question. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let's... There's only so many places we can actually go. So we can't even go back to the... the evidence room. So are we meant to look around a bit more? I mean, there's nothing else to see, surely. We've done all of the work. There's going to be nothing new here, surely. Okay. Oh, think. So, just dealing with the dog. He's doing a little bit of a shift around. Aren't you, puppy? Um. Okay. So let's move around. To represent him a bunch of stuff. Have we done this? Oh, I'm the prosecutor. Okay, this picture is hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes. Which is the trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. The sword. Yes, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. Sword and shield. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. You know, wouldn't hurt if you put this up somewhere like on a shelf. That has no meaning for me anymore. What do you mean, anymore? That's who I was last year. What good is it to dwell on the past? He's asking me. Why can't he just accept it graciously? Okay. Yeah, don't you remember? Okay, so we've presented you the suit. Does that mean I've got... Right. Let's ask about this trophy. This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure. Everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Yeah, for my sake. Very well. Oh, interesting. We're going to get a full-on story. Ooh. Long ago, in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day, he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armour. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Objection! Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. At a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. Okay, King of Prosecutors trophy updated. So then do we have to go and find Chief Gant again then? Let's try in here. Police Stazione. Oh, you're back. You're still here. I'm going to make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files, and turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Oh, that DJ. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's got to be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. Can we give him the beef? Did we even take the beef? We didn't take the beef. Okay, so... Right, so we're going to present him with a bunch of stuff then, I guess. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. I think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah. It was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know? After all, a serial killer was on the loose. But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. Did that give me any more talkie points? No. Oops. We've done this. Do. Okay. Back to presenting him things. Can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me... Okay, we've listened, we've talked. We've talked about that. About that jar. I think I've seen it somewhere before. Somewhere. Or maybe it's just one of those memories people have from previous lives. We've seen it here. He's here. But how do I... Okay. So we're going to keep... Right. So... Oh, there must be something I'm missing. Hold on a minute. Wasn't there something in... I'm going to do a little bit of a... Trying to remember. Didn't he throw something under the desk that I was meant to look at? What is this? I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth? Is that Detective Gumshoe out that window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. Didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading it, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation, I wonder if I can use it for anything. Okay, so maybe we give that to Gumshoe because he's such a big fan of Edgeworth's. That might just get us in where we want to go. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way. Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? It's a good point. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective? That's it. I've made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. And look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this. For Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Okay, so now we've got an ID. We should be able to move to the chief's office. Here goes Mr. Wright. Back with the pipe organ. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Don't do that to my card. Okay. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? But if we're lucky, now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Okay, so let's do the examination. What's this? This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Excuse me. I'm very tired. I'm just going to wrap this dog up a little bit more. I like to burrito him at night when it's cold because he's an old boy. He's an old boy and he deserves to be warm. I just want to make sure he's tucked in nicely because he's leaning against my foot. Okay. It looks like this code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. Okay, a 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. Do we know what it is? Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date. I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. What if it is the 777? Yeah. Ping. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was that, pal? 77777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 777777? That ID number. I think you're 17 shy this time. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? I do care to look inside. I didn't spend all that time breaking into it. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth with a handy print. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in that safe? Excuse me, I am so tired, you guys. I don't normally stream this late, but it's been a day. We've been to see the new Hunger Games film today, actually. It was very good. Very much enjoyed it. It was very close to the book, which I was very happy about. Okay. Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on, there's got to be something we can show the detective. Okay, so if we present him the cup. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days. It was yesterday. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one? That was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Okay. Oh. I need to go back to that. Not mess it up this time. I need to look at the controls. Okay, assemble fragments. Okay. So it's Q and R to rotate. And E to combine. Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. What do you mean it's different? There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Okay, the unstable jar updated. Can we check it for prints yet? Look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. Looks like blood. This piece the chief has is different though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line. That is odd. Okay. So is that all we've got? You look so sad. Should we do the question? That desk on the other side of the room. Was that your sister's? Yes. That's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day, 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to anyone else. He wants us to be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Potentially not. So potentially. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah. You wouldn't be... No. There's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go. Ignoring me again. Okay, so let's keep examining. Right, we got the desk. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. I don't know whether you can hear that. My dog's having a little snore. At least we know he's warm and comfy. But if you can hear him, he's just having a little bit of a dream. He snores a lot and has those puppy dreams where he's kind of barking to himself under his breath. It's very cute. Okay. A list of evidence. In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though. Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said, I wonder what. No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long. That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. Half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Okay, so we've got the evidence list added. That's handy. What else is about this desk? Turn this inside the drawer. Can we look at the list? What's on the list? Oh, nothing. I can't. Oh, hello. Good morning. I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is this? Did you find something? I can't make it out. I mean, what can you not make out about that? Better keep quiet about it for now. Huh? Oh no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? I'd better not forget about this picture. Okay. Let's definitely not forget about the picture. That seems like a really sensible thing to do. Okay. So we've had a looky look at that. We've had a looky look over here. Let's have a look at this statue. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armour and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armour. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh. Be careful of what you say. Who knows? The chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out. You don't know how Oh, dear me. The yawns are coming out of nowhere tonight. Oh, I'm tired. So very tired. And I still haven't finished this case. Okay, cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be. We really don't. And we really don't care. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armour from here. At first, the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. Okay, huge windows, huge windows. Safe desk. Pipe organ. The chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. That's on the 2nd floor. This is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When a detective screws up, the chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours. What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul. After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears. So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the chief's ears affected? He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. Okay, slippity slide. So we've got the painting. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma. After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then went along with Chief Gant to question Drake. Dark. Drake? Who's Drake? I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later. I mean, you don't typically think, do you know what? Do you know what would be great if this happened this afternoon? If I got murdered. That's just a run-of-the-mill thought. Gee, you think? Okay. I'm going to do this through my yawns, you guys. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Okay, so that clears the shelves. Table, window. Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside. This is the 15th floor, Gumshoe. Exactly that. I know, I was just saying. Saying what? Ever since making detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. What, throwing yourself out of a 15-story building for no good reason. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. So long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that. Okay, so it looks like the last little bit of thing to check out then is the desk. This was Lana's desk. It sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. It looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of. Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? Question. So, what do we do now? Oh, floor. Hello, floor. This mark looks like some kind of flower. Word is, it's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge. Prosecutor's badge? Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar. What? They have badges too. Why would you get a defense attorney's badge, but they wouldn't get a prosecutor's badge? Why? The design is supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system. Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful. But Mr. Edgeworth never wears a badge. That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit. So, sharp dressers don't need to wear badges. What are you saying about my dress sense? I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide. I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment. Okay. So, what do we have now? Is this it? Is this everything we've got? Are we meant to present... That's what the chief was reading before, isn't it? You know, when we first came in here? Yeah, it looks like the right side of the form's been torn off. So Mr. Edgeworth's list really was only half of the whole thing? Something else is bugging me more than that. Take a look at the back of that form, pal. The back? Yeah, I've looked at the back. We know about the back. We've seen it at the back. Okay. So... Can we do anything with this? No. Okay. So, what are we doing now? Huh. Can we go somewhere else? I don't see what else we've got to do here. Wait a second. Where's that other piece of evidence gone? Hold on a minute. Wasn't there a thing? is this thing? But where's that other piece of thing gone? How do I get it back? I had one, didn't I? Um, what if we present the Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. I need to sneeze. If I'm not yawning, I'm sneezing. Oh, so I've just woke the dog up. It's okay, Arch. I need you to sneeze. You lie back down. I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead. Take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on. This isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Shh. Where's your sense of humour? Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told 1,000,000 times. Alright, let's get this over with. Okay, so we've got a few prints. Let's go for the old index, because, you know. Okay. There's one. I gave it my best shot. The kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clearer result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger then. Okay, middle of thumb. Let's go inwards. Let's do. Nice. That's a good print. Okay, it's not gone. It's Emma's. I think it's Emma's. Compare. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints. Hey, you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the cheap safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Okay. Got it. Was I any help? Of course. We were able to get some hard evidence. No, that's not very kind, is it? Is this going to be Gant? This is going to be Gant, isn't it? But his ID card, he would have been useless. Right, with the coat. Chief Gant. We didn't think he would act so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out of the window. I saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID card on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too, then. Wait. You. The one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright? Is it going to turn out that he's her dad or something? Look, pal. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? Thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. Why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Anyway, you listening to me? I'm going to try to smooth things over with Chief again. Later, pal. Okay, bye. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Okay, we're back in the detention centre then. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Okay, let's talk. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No. I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Well, it's obviously Chief Gant, isn't it? Well, Miss Skye. Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. Take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he's respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offences. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Maybe this? Take that! I just found this in a safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmise. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. What were your orders? Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. What? Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken. And I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. Yes, that line. So it was so funny today. We went to see the new Hunger Games, just completely on a side tangent. Went to see the new Hunger Games movie, and we were sat by these people who literally gasped at everything, to the point of the guy puts on a coat and they were like, me and Kaylee were in hysterics sitting next to these people. It was almost like they'd never seen a film before. Everything was amazing to them. So I feel like when I'm having like revelations in this game, and I'm having the same reaction as those people watching that film. They were loving life. It was great. Okay, back to the game. Concentrate. So the SL9 knife was stuck in his body. Yeah, serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him. So I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes. Seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what had happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma. I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. I would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling. The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean, not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He'd already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. How does she keep swiveling on that chair like that? I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now, please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. What went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? Interesting. Okay, let's save. Oh god, it's going to be split into... This episode is long. Or were the other episodes just as long and I've just forgotten? February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, all right, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth? Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 77777 code ID card number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't officially He hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes bright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. Figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. You don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Interesting. Oh, this is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Okay, let's do the trial then. Okay, February 25th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Okay. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defence is ready, Your Honour. And the prosecution is ready, Your Honour. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Oh, what's this idiot up to now? Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? We're waiting. Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble, as he twisted her arm into saying something. Okay. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honour, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. Stupid woman. Objection. You can't. Your Honour, the defendant's claim does not change the defence's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honour, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial. Is Emma going to show up just before the guilty verdict's passed? Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise, this can't be happening. It appears that the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Objection!
Edgeworth. One moment, Your Honour. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, No. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. Or with this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honour, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Grant? Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. Now, Please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure I know where this is going at all. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honour. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defence may begin its cross-examination. Okay, so we're going to press a bunch of stuff, I guess. Okay, let's go. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes. She was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister? She was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skye and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look, and that's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. What was the prosecutor doing then? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right. Just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Interesting. Let's hear more. Let's keep going. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Keep asking about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. Objection! But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honour. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Hold it! Let's keep going. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us? The man raised up his knife. Okay, so I'm going to present the picture here. Maybe. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold. Beholdeth this picture. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honour. Turn it over. Turn it. Oh, what's this? It's not a picture, surely. No. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. Objection! What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honour. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honour, are you all right, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Oh, Edge boy. Sorry, Your Honour. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. That thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. List restored and updated in the court record. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, Your Honour. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Okay, we're on the picture testimony. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image into your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defence may now begin its cross-examination. Okay. Let's cross-examine then. What do we got? Just press everything. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganised. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should have still been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. Can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor. Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped up on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry.
Objection!
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here either, Edgeworth. Anyway, this picture. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
Hold it!
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course. This is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives?
Objection!
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives. So I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Oh, well, that's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Is there? Okay, let's go back to that statement. And then let's look at what evidence we've got. So that bears Emma's prints. This now has that on it. The award ceremony, stabbed in the back.
Objection!
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture, the witness drew, contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. Ooh. What part of this picture contradicts?
Take that!
I think it's this part. Okay. It probably should warrant the death penalty, but I need to do that again. What part of it contradicts the autopsy report? Exactly. So it's not the chest. Maybe it's the way he's holding it. Maybe I don't want to click the wrong thing again. Is it the way? So we've already clicked there. He was stabbed in the back, I believe, if I remember rightly now. Where would I point? Is it the way he's holding him? What about... Okay, so the tip was meant... maybe it's this. Maybe it's a knife. Because that doesn't exactly look like a knife. I've stared at this so long now that it could be anything. Yeah. Okay, the contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
Objection!
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Objection!
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does it mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
Objection!
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Objection!
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order, order, order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honour, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gatt. Too many D's. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up the broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one, and I know where it is. It's on that shield. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. I can't present. Oh, I need to do that, don't I?
Take that!
The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood, from this award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
Objection!
But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was a murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth? What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? This list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part deep away inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honour. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. Okay, Emma's recollection. Let's go. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual.
Objection!
Try impossible. The Chief of Detectives hadn't even designed him till this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Very well. Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana? What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. Silencie. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Finally. Okay, let's go, Emma. What do you recall? When I saw that man raise his knife.
Hold it!
When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then I panicked and rushed towards both of them.
Hold it!
Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was how tired I was. No, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife.
Hold it!
What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was a witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next? Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger.
Hold it!
Are you sure about this? Of course. See, I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought of this hideous beast. And that was just this year. Blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
Hold it!
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
Objection!
This is pointless. That thing couldn't possibly have existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
Objection!
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? If so, by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger really? I mean, let's take a wild stab at it. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew that picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defence's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look like. Okay, so it's not the trophy. It's got to be that stupid... Can we move? This has got stupid novels on it. What if we move this? that way. That way. That looks a bit like it. Okay, let's present that.
Take that!
Let's try it. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint. Got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Okay, so what about oh, this is difficult. Oh no, I've pressed the wrong button. This is difficult. What angle would you have it at? It's got to be kind of like, why is this so difficult to do? What about if we have it with these guys up? I bet this was easier on the DS, I bet. It just is impossible. It might actually be better with the how about that? Kind of like that.
Take that! Objection!
How do I know when I've got it right?
Take that!
Oh, I
Objection!
pressed the wrong button. Okay, just not press the wrong button again. That looks about right to me.
Take that!
I've pressed it again. Okay.
Objection!
Yes, I know. I'm running out of it goes. I've got to stop pressing the wrong buttons. I mean, that looks right to me.
Take that!
Oh, I did it. That was painful. If I hadn't pressed the wrong button a couple of times, that would have been so much easier. Well, is this a miracle or what? No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. And that's why it was smashy smashed, I guess. No, it can't be. Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Objection!
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What does it mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
Objection!
Kinda does, though. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Maybe the murder weapon? Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar mysteriously floating towards her as everybody's being stabbed. Super creepy and weird. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
Objection!
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Objection!
Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office.
Objection!
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Maybe. Maybe I know. Finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? A suit of armour, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armour was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility. Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea But nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Dum dum dum. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No. Bad times, Emma. Oh dear. As she fainted again. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was a witness who took the victim's life and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. I hate that word. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging. I can't get over how tired I am, to be fair. Forging evidence 2 years ago. Oh, I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep when my sister gets back, I must admit. Very tired. Okay. Forging evidence, admissions, all that stuff. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body is to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. No, 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 no. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What does it mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. A message, huh? For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Can we use... I'm wondering whether it's either this, although we've used that once, or this. Maybe that. Or maybe... let's go. I've got one to burn, so let's burn this. Okay, that was decisive. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar. What does it mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Oh, is it like a connect the dot kind of? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments to have him leave. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. The blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Oh, she's sweating. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Okay, so... how do we... okay, so we clicky click. I'm not there then.
Take that!
Presente. It's the defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Well, who knew? Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Oh, joy, this guy's back. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ugh. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Objection!
But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Can you just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, order, order! Bang, bang, bang. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, nobody knows. Good Lord, this is the longest case we've ever done. Okay, so. Whew. Final day trial letter. Do we think we've got it in us? No, it is late. I am tired. And I keep yawning. And I'm sure that's no fun for you guys to listen to me yawn every 2 seconds. So, I'm going to leave this one here. I'm going to go and see if there's anybody we can raid real quick. And then once we've done that, I will sign off for the evening. I will probably be back tomorrow afternoon-ish. Got a little bit of work in the morning. And then pretty much off, I think. So, let's go stream. Let's go raid. Let's raid Pat today. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me through all of those yawns. I'm very tired for no good reason. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow at some point in the day. Okay, we're off to raid. Bye.